Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back today with this Tour Pro analysis with Brooks Koepka, and I know that a lot of you probably at home either love him or hate him, but listen, this guy just won his 4th time on the LIV Tour, and he's now $6 million richer this year, so congratulations to Brooks. And you know what? I absolutely love his golf swing. I love the fact that he is a powerhouse with the way that he moves his body. He's not using the smallest muscles in his golf swing to be able to produce his club head speed. And that's what gets a lot of you into trouble, is that a lot of you are fixated on swing plane or fixated on certain positions in the golf swing, like your takeaway or the wrist position at the top of the golf swing. And you can make your golf swing look really good in both of those positions, but it's how you get to those positions and how you move through those what's most important to your success when it comes to playing the game of golf. I see a lot of really good swingers of the golf club lose their way because they're moving in the wrong sequence. And sequence is everything. You can have a better backswing if you learn how to load your body up in the correct order and you think about the mantra of big body inputs, small hand and arm inputs. Yes, the hands and arms do have function. How much wrist set and how much elevation and how much flexion is all very tied back to the DNA that you bring to the table. Under no circumstance should there be ironclad, buttoned up information that works from one person to the next. What should be buttoned up, though, is your ability to be able to shift your weight and turn your body fully. And if you follow this plan that we're going to outline for you today when we take a look at Brooks Koepka's golf swing, then you're going to have a much easier time building a backswing that's going to help you set up for a better downswing, because sequence is going to drive your speed. Sequence is going to allow you to be consistent. And I know a lot of you at home want to hit the golf ball further, and you want to be able to make sure that you're more consistent when it's all said and done. So let's take a look at this golf swing now. Now, one of the things that we're going to focus on here this week is we're going to focus in on Brooks's loading process. And this is going to help start to get the wheels turning, because later on in the week, what we're going to do is Jason and I are going to head back out to the range, and we're going to show you a drill that's going to help you start to change the direction of the golf swing properly, but also create a little bit of down cock through your trail arm and through your trail wrist so that you can shallow things out properly. And Brooks does that extraordinarily well in his swing shape. So let's look at this from a face-on perspective and watch how he gets his golf swing started. So you're going to see that he makes a little tiny pressure shift into his trail side, and I want you to watch this lead hip move in as he starts to shift into his trail side. So the lead hip starts to rotate in as the trail hip starts to rotate back. Now, if you look at his upper body is turning. We've seen a little shift into the trail side. We're going to rotate the hips probably about 10 to 15 degrees at this point. And now we're going to continue to turn. And as he gets up to the top of the swing, okay, you can see that he's turned right close to 90 degrees. This is where he is done fully loading up his golf swing. This is where he's going to start to change the direction of the golf swing. And what you're going to see is that he starts to move in a horizontal sense and a rotational sense as well. And if you look at it really closely, there's a little bit of down cock and a little increase in angle between the wrists and the forearms and the club shaft. That's not a movement that we're trying to create. That's a movement as a result of us moving in the correct sequence. Sequence is everything in this game. And a lot of times you get yourself into trouble because you start to force the club to try to do these certain movements that you see of the best players in the world. These are a result, not an action. We want to make sure that the action is being driven by the body. Now, one of the things that I want to do is I want to show you a good drill that a lot of you can take to the driving range to help you create a good, solid backswing. And a drill I like to do is a drill that's called the train tracks drill or the depth line drill. You can take an alignment stick and you can stick it off of your trail ankle straight back away from the target. And we can even draw this line straight up from his ankle, straight up and down. And what we're going to try to do is we're always going to think about making a good shift into our trail side and a good body turn. Those two things have to be in place. Now, to get the club in a good spot at the top of the golf swing, rather than thinking about all of the nuts and bolts that go into a takeaway and then go into a backswing with all of those functions, is think about just keeping your hands and your arms out in front of this line that's on the ground. Think about weight shift and body turn. Now, if you start thinking about keeping your hands out in front of that line way too much before you create a good body turn, then you're not going to create enough depth in the swing to be able to help create a shallow sort of downward movement. Now, what you're going to see with Brooks here is that he gets his hands and arms working a little bit to the inside, but the club stays out in front of his hands. And now if you watch really closely, as he's finishing off this turn that we just looked at from a face-on perspective, you're going to see his hands go straight up in the air, okay? See how his hands and arms go vertical? Okay, now, at the top of the golf swing, this is a golf swing that is going to need some shallowing in it, right? This could be considered a very steep move. And what you're going to see is that he does shallow it with that little bit of down cock. Hands and arms work back out in front of the body, club shaft sitting right down underneath the trail shoulder, and now he's getting ready to deliver the club with a great deal of force through his post-up and his release. This is what makes Brooks and his DNA so effective on the golf course, is that he's not using these really big, long hand and arm inputs in the golf swing to be able to create a speed. He's keeping his hands and his arms pretty well connected to what his body is doing, and then when he gets down to delivery, he's exploding out of the ground and he's letting the club release beautifully. And that's how you produce real club head speed through kinematic sequence. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's analysis. Hopefully you guys are ready to take a ride with us later on in the week, because we're going to show you a great drill that's going to help you simplify your backswing and also help you create that little downcock and that feel that you would see of Brooks Koepka and a lot of the best players in the world. Stop trying to fix your takeaway in your backswing by forcing your arms and forcing the club into a good spot. Think about small functions from your hands and your arms, big body inputs, and you're going to have a better backswing all day long. We'll see you guys in the next video.